Hi everyone, my name's Omar.
And my name is Lorraine, and welcome to a brand new Insights podcast.
This podcast will help creatives like yourself figure out what university is all about.
We'll be chatting about all things from picking the correct degree for you, utilising that 27 grand and finding that creative confidence. You didn't sound like you.
Yeah, I didn't. Hi everyone, back with another episode. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about creative confidence within illustration or art and design, it could be fine art even. And I'm just going to be rambling and ranting about whatever.
Your journey.
My journey.
No, this is exciting. I'm happy. I'm ready to hear about Omar. All about Omar.
All about me. Yeah. It's been a long journey. It's not been easy. But I think as the listeners have been kind of getting to know me, I've gone through ups and downs, with my attitude towards education and even my attitudes towards my own worth, my creative worth. So there's a lot that's happened. So the journey's been a little bit long. But I'm kind of glad it's been long because I've now realized that I do have this sort of skill set that is quite useful and quite exciting. And I'm really excited to do more of it and expand on particular projects and ideas that I've got going. But like I said, it's not been easy. So if I could give any advice to anyone, I guess I could start doing that now.
Just to backtrack a bit, do you mind just letting us know what degrees you've done? And then let's start from, I guess.
So I've done 45 degrees. No.
I have 2 PhDs.
two
yeah,
PhDs.
Just let the listeners know what degrees.
Yeah. So like I've spoken before, I've got... it's a film degree. It's called media practice, but it's a film degree. It's only it's digital film. It's not real film. So I did that. That was my first university experience in terms of a degree. Back then, it was a foundation degree. So it's a 2-year course, and then I could top it up to make it a BA course. Really complicated. They don't do that anymore. So that was my first experience, and my second experience. So years later, I just worked. I did some music videos here and there, but I just worked normally with the family. And then years later, I decided to go back into uni because I could see that there was something happening in my brain and I wanted to expand my visual creativeness and maybe go back into directing. But this time I went into illustration and visual media. And it was an interesting decision because I got a lot of people that said, "Oh, why are you going back to study?" And then other people were like, go to study.
Yeah.
And then I realized it's not up to anyone. It's up to me. And this is what feels right for me. And I did it. And no regrets. No regrets. So now I've done my illustration and visual media BA. That's a 3-year course.
Yeah.
And
looking back, is there anything you have taken away from doing that course?
Well, the illustration?
Yeah, aside from the degree.
Well, there's so much. I've taken away the fact that, again, I do have the skill set and ability to create my own ideas and not be dictated by other people, for money to do their ideas. I can actually come up with my ideas. But that took a while because it was basically me tapping into my own sort of, my own demons in my head, so that could be fear, fear of rejection, fear of being
which is common.
Yeah, laughed at because of your ideas, and researching particular artists really helped, especially artists that I could relate to or stories that I could relate to. and seeing how their process was or how they worked it out. And I kind of like, just did my own version of that. And I've managed to now managed to like hone in on visualizing my ideas more properly than I've ever done before. So for example, I used to do a lot of black and white work because I wasn't very confident with doing color. But now I'm using a lot of color.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, it's like it's.
How did you make the jump between like just staying, I guess, within that comfort zone of just working in black and white, for example, and then being like, oh no, like I actually am good. Like I'm gonna.
It's weird. It's like one of them is again researching artists and seeing how they work. So from I think I've said this before. Like I love Japanese art, and manga art is like one of the biggest examples of like great artwork, but it's all black and white. And then you have these artists that would every now and then do a bit of color, throw a little bit of color in there for like small amount of pages, and I'll be like, oh, how, I guess they can do that. I guess I could do that, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Let me try.
But then, you tried.
So I tried.
Yeah.
But the trying bit was the bit where it's like, I'm only trying and I'm keeping this to myself. And it's interesting because you kind of said it in the previous podcast, which is when you collaborate with someone, it's you get help. People would advise you, this is how you do this, or this is the lighting, or this is the camera, but you're dictating how the project goes. It's the kind of same thing as if I had a piece of work and I don't know, maybe let's say I was like, maybe I wasn't very confident with it and someone sees it. And if I ask their opinion on it and I want to be honest about it and I want to get some constructive feedback, I said that this is the idea that I want to do. And someone says, this is great, or this is, you can work on this. So I've got both.
Yeah.
And that really helped me. So one of them would be like, oh, your work's amazing, blah, blah, blah. Like that's, and I really appreciate it. But then it's really interesting when someone sees that amazing work, but then breaks it down constructively and says, I see what you're doing, but you could do more or you could do better.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay. So and they tell you how you could do better.
And I guess a lot of people kind of shy away from feedback and like criticism because you're putting out any piece of work or just showing people it is a vulnerable experience. You're thinking, oh God, they're not gonna like it. I don't know what to do. But actually, just coming out of your comfort zone and showing people what you've done so far and them helping you get to the next step actually builds on your confidence. And that's why you were able to create more work.
Yeah, definitely.
And drawing colour.
Drawing colour, yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's like, so again, my first sort of experience of university, I was quite ignorant, I have to be honest. And that's why I always talk about that I lacked, sort of like collaborating, being sociable. But my second experience in university, I changed my attitude completely. Like I went in there thinking, okay, I want to be criticized. I want to get the feedback. I don't want just perfect score. I want people to say to me, why does your thing look like manga?
Yeah.
Why don't you try something different? That's what I wanted. I also wanted to elevate and change my illustration quality. So I wanted it to transform a little bit. I was ready for change.
Yeah.
So I went in there expecting to try, like, for my creative.
And what made a difference to your outcome, like,
Oh,
between the first degree and the second degree? Was it like, oh, you wasn't happy with your work that you produced at the end of it, or was it just because you were like, what was the difference?
It's like I was, you know what? I look back now. So at the time, I was happy with my work. I was like, oh, this is really good. Like when I did film, even when I did film, I was like, oh wow, I did this. Oh, interesting. I guess I have what it takes.
Yeah. As most of us.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I did it. And when I did illustration and visual media, I had I was able to do like prints and publications. I've never done them before. I was really proud, really happy with it. But after I left uni, because I've constantly been working on my skill set and developing my work, I look back at that work now with a not so narrow mindset and wider sort of broadened horizon. Like I've broadened my horizon in terms of my own self-criticism.
Yeah.
And I look at it and I'm like, this was good. I understand why I was happy with it back in the day, but now I could do much.
A new pair of eyes.
Yeah, I could do much better. And I needed to go through those steps to get to where I'm at now.
Yeah.
So yeah, like for example, doing sketchbook work every day, understanding anatomy, understanding color, understanding what I see, like literally what I see with my eyes, like what I find attractive, what I find not attractive, all of this stuff, all these concepts, all these philosophies that I started to really dive deep. So now my work isn't, as much as I love manga and anime and Japanese artwork, I love this stuff, but now I feel like I've left that realm and my work has more depth, more idea, more philosophy inside it. And this is only because I've been trying to do that stuff every day. It's like mental practice, like going to the gym. You go to the gym if you want to get bigger, you do the weights, right? It's the same thing here.
When you get better, you just practice more.
I have to practice. I have to understand why certain artists work.
Yeah.
Like how.
And other than just practicing, when you talk about researching and how that kind of, I guess, made you better because you saw what the work you kind of wanted to create. What else was you researching, just for people that perhaps don't know what to do or don't know what to research? Like, what was you Googling?
It depends, I guess, because what's interesting about uni, you have a lot of self-directed work. So there's a lot of stuff that will be like, oh, this is the brief, but you have to do it on your own, and you have to mold the brief to fit into your own
style.
Yeah, your style. Yeah. Right?
Key thing, guys. Like a lot of people think you just need to answer the question. You do. Yeah. But in your style, and honestly, once you see it that way, it will change your whole education.
Exactly. Because you start taking ownership of your creative pathway. And what I started realizing is like I started thinking about the things I find interesting. So if a brief was to do with, visualize the color red, how can you depict the color red in interesting ways? Let's say that's a really bad brief, but whatever. And then I'll be like, okay, visualize
danger.
Okay, but that's the thing. That's the typical, right? The typical would be danger.
And everyone's producing
the same
30
thing.
people.
Exactly. But then I think about I think about the stuff that I like. So I love a lot of stuff. So I would take some of these things and then expand it and relate it to the color red. So if, for example, one of the things I like to do is cultural heritage, I like to go back and look at my own heritage. My family are from South America, Chile. And I'll look back at that and maybe I'll look at the artwork from Chile, or I'll look at the stories of Chile. And if I start seeing the color red, I'm like, okay, this is interesting. That's red. Let me now start going into that.
It makes you stand out more because out of, I guess, 30 kids in one room, you would be probably the only one from Chile, which is like now your work is different and it stands out more. Yeah, and that's really cool.
There's a story to be told, in the work. But I definitely think, not to ramble on too much, but it's definitely knowing the fact that if you're in university, you have to understand you're there to learn. You're there to make a lot of mistakes. I've made so many mistakes and I embraced every mistake. I loved the mistakes that I was doing. I loved the fact that people were criticizing me because they wanted to see me do better.
Exactly.
You know, they want to see me progress into another level. And I was ready for all of that. And sometimes it's hard. But the reason why I was ready for that, because I did my first experience in uni, but I did it very...
So what would you say to the students that are thinking about going to uni but necessarily don't have the chance to do it again? What should they be aware of or take into consideration from Omar's perspective?
I definitely think go in there with an open mindset. Don't close yourself off to any idea. And even there are going to be some moments where you will be challenged and it's going to be uncomfortable. But as a creative, that's very normal.
Yeah.
It's really normal. And you have to then manage that. You're going to go into uni, it's going to hurt sometimes, it's going to be painful sometimes. But
You're going to cry.
But like you said, there's a safety net in university.
Yeah.
The university helps you. It's there to help you. And if you feel like you're not getting the help that you want, you're not getting, you really see the standard is dropped, there's nothing wrong with going and stepping back, like we've said before. You know, rethink it, whatever. But it's there. Well, from my experience, I've been there twice. Yeah. You know, it's been good. So, yeah, go in there knowing that you're gonna get criticism. You're gonna get some sort of feedback that you might not like. But it's good for you.
Definitely.
It's really good for you. You're there to be educated. Nothing is perfect.
No, I love that. Like university is there, like we keep saying, you're learning. You don't walk through those doors already having your career or being established. If that was the case, you wouldn't be there.
You wouldn't be in university. You're spending, 27 grand.
27 grand.
So utilize that. Take advantage of that. Take advantage.
Honestly.
Take the uni for a ride with your creative
and I
venture.
love that because I can see it in you, like even the way you speak about your work and how you're even able to evaluate yourself just shows that you already have confidence in where you are now in comparison to then. Maybe old Omar will just be like, hi, yes, so basically I write in. Do you know what I mean? But I just feel like I can see that and it's very cool to see.
I don't know what to talk about. That's what would be me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just do it. I just like it. But yeah, no. But yeah, I could talk about it for a while, but I'll probably start boring the listeners. But,
no, I love that. It's been very, very insightful.
I hope it helped. But
thank you so much, Omar.
No worries. Thank you. But yeah, if I'm gonna drop some links
down below,
that's the one. And yeah, hopefully this has been helpful. Yeah, thank you, Lorraine.
Feel free to check them out, but thank you.
No worries. Bye. Thanks for listening. If you got any questions, drop us a DM on Instagram at UAL_insights. Don't forget to check out the Insights website and resources in the links below. See ya.